Shalom, shalom. All right. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. So we're going to continue today with our reading of 2nd Esdras. Funny story, day before yesterday, I recorded all of 2nd Esdras 3 in the wilderness at the park, and it was beautiful and the sun was shining. And I got home late that night to upload it because normally I always go live, right? And I got home to upload it and it was gone. The whole thing was gone. And yesterday, I forgot what I was doing yesterday. Oh, the rain. I got really busy too. But regardless, I was so upset because it was like awesome the way I recorded it and it was just gone. So, sorry. Today, I'm just going to reread 2nd Esdras 3, 2nd Esdras 4, because there are some really good nuggets in there that if you haven't dug deep into this book, that you should, because this is a book that applies to us. And when I'm finished reading, as soon as I can figure out how to get comfy, I want to talk about the calendar a little bit. That the Zadok calendar, and it's not really called the Zadok calendar. I think that's just what they equated it with. But you have to understand the community of, the community of servants of Yah at the time in Qumran, where the Dead Sea Scrolls were found. And I think if people could grasp who they are as a people, then the calendar would bring about a lot of revelation. So that's at least what I have been studying. All right, so let me get situated here. In my niece's room. Can you not tell, teenager? Okay, so we're gonna pick up with 2nd Esdras 3, and I just want to pray, and we'll get right into this because I want to read both, and I don't have a lot of time right now. But I'm pretty sure I can finish both of them. Get situated. Shalom. Oh, happy prep day, right? It is Friday, right? Hi, I pray the fast is going well. Stay strong. You're almost done, right? Let's see. All right, so 2nd Esdras 3, after we pray, and we'll invite the Ruach HaKodesh to come in. Phew. Abba, I am so grateful I can come to you when I feel all scatterbrained. So I just submit myself to you right now. And I invite the Ruach HaKodesh to come and use my mouth. I submit my voice, my mouth, my body, all of it over to you. And I invite the Ruach HaKodesh now. And I ask that you would give all of us eyes to see and ears to hear your word, which is truth, which is our nourishment this morning. And I'm so grateful for, that we have technology where we can commune together at any time, anywhere, any place. So it is a blessing. And I just thank you. I pray that that the Ruach HaKodesh would bring all revelation forward and all truth of your word as we just share in the reading of your holy word today. And I thank you in Yahushua HaMashiach's name. Amen. Ura, in case you can tell, a little scatterbrain this morning. All right. So 2nd Esdras 3. So it was in the 13th year after the destruction of the city that I was in Babylon. Oh. Sorry, just had a revelation. Okay. This is where I found out Ezra's real name. So, that Esther, her name was Hadassah, right? And so Ezra, um, I believe his Hebrew name is the one I'm about to mention, because, he had to change his name because they were in captivity at this time. So he says, I, Salathiel, who am also called Ezra. I was troubled as I lay on my bed, and my thoughts swelled up in my heart because I saw the desolation of Zion and the wealth of those who lived in Babylon. My spirit was greatly agitated, and I began to speak anxious words to the Most High. And I said, O sovereign Yahuwah, did you not speak at the beginning when you planted the earth, and that without help, and commanded the dust, and it gave you Adam, a lifeless body? Yet he was the creation of your hands, and you breathed into him the breath of life, and he was made alive in your presence. And you led him into the garden at your right hand, and had planted, in your right hand, that you had planted before the earth appeared. Pause. That is the first time I've ever heard that mentioned, that the garden was there before the earth, which makes a lot of sense, because where are we going to go? Back to the garden. Just an interesting note. And you can absolutely dive into that, because you might need to run it through some other translations to make sure that it was translated correctly. I'm using, like I said, the King James Apocrypha. Sorry, I lost my place. And you laid upon him one commandment of yours, but he transgressed it. And immediately you appointed death for him and for his descendants. And from him there sprang nations and tribes and peoples and clans without number, and every nation walked after its own will. They did ungodly things in your sight and rejected your commands, and you did not hinder them. But again, in its time, you brought the flood upon the inhabitants of the world and destroyed them. And the same fate befell all of them. Just as death came upon Adam, so the flood upon them. But you left one of them, Noah and his household, and all the righteous who have descended from him. And when those who lived on earth began to multiply, and they produced the children and the peoples and many nations, and again they began to be more ungodly than were their ancestors. And when they were committing iniquity in your sight, you chose for yourself one of them, whose name was Abraham, and you loved him, and to him alone you revealed the end of times, secretly by night. You made an everlasting covenant with him, and promised him that you would never forsake his descendants, and you gave him Isaac, and to Isaac you gave Jacob, and to Jacob you gave Esau. You set apart Jacob for yourself, but Esau you rejected, and Jacob became a great multitude. And when you led his descendants out of Egypt, and you brought them to Mount Sinai, you bent down the heavens and shook the earth and moved the world and caused the depths to tremble and troubled the times. That's pretty massive earthquake, right? You bent down the heavens. Okay, and this is all as he was leading Israel out of Egypt. Just pay attention, because I honestly believe that the revelation here is what is going to occur for the second Exodus. Because many say, well, how are we going to get there from here? And there are many, see my kitty cat? There are many who are like, okay, well, he's going to have to do some sort of earthquake, some sort of earth shift to put dry land between here and the promised land, right? And if you pay attention to this wording, you bent down, you moved the world and caused the depths to tremble, the depths of the sea, and troubled the times. That's just Yeah, you bent down the heavens, shook the earth to tremble, and troubled the times. That is a massive earthquake. And if you didn't know, the poles are shifting right now. I've said this before, but like east will be west, west will be east, north will be south, south will be north. We are in a process of that shift occurring. And when that does, I believe that this event, it will, at some point during this shift, and this is just me, you can do your own homework, but at some point during this shift, this event right here that we are reading will occur to make the way from here to there for the second Exodus. Your glory. Now, listen, this is another key that I picked up on, and I've read this book many times. Your glory passed through 4 gates of fire, and an earthquake, and wind, and ice, to give the law to the descendants of Jacob, and your commandment to the posterity of Israel. Abba had to go through all that just to come to this place to deliver the commandments. Isn't that, oh, that's just like way out there thinking for us, for our small little mind, right? And if you remember at the first Exodus, he instructed Moses to put like a perimeter around the mountain, because he said, I desire not to kill my chosen people, but if they come too close or pass through this gate, this line, let's just pretend like it's a gate, they will perish, because I am so holy, nothing that is dirty in any way, shape, and form could be before him or come into his presence, like enter his bubble. And so just understanding that he passed through 4 gates of fire, which caused an earthquake, which caused the wind to blow extremely hard, which then caused ice. Fire and ice. We could just spend all day on this little sentence right here, but I think Abba wants me to read first, and then we'll come back and dig out all the nuggets. Yet you did not take away their evil heart from them, so that your law might produce fruit in them. For the first Adam, burdened with an evil heart, transgressed and was overcome, as were also all who descended from him. Thus the disease became permanent, and the law was in the hearts of the people along with the evil root. But what was good departed, and the evil remained. Pause one more time. See, I already talked about this. I'm so upset the video deleted, but it's okay. I get to share it again. So we know, because Abba says, evil is a dis-ease. It explains a lot from not just a health perspective. Okay, mental health, wellness, any kind of way you think about it, evil. And he says the disease became permanent. So we are all born into sin and transgression, and he says the law was in the hearts of the people along with the evil root. So what I understood was that the evil root that was left in us from Adam and Eve's sin, that's what we're all born with. And it's something that he, I don't think ever, because we live here in a fallen world, it's not going to leave until we go there. Do you see what I'm saying? I don't know if that makes sense. But the evil remained. So the times passed and the years were completed, and you raised up for yourself a servant named David. And you commanded him to build a city for your name, and there to offer your oblations from what is yours. This was done for many years, but the inhabitants of the city transgressed in everything, doing just as Adam and all of his descendants had done. For they also had evil in their heart. So you handed over your city to your enemies. Then I said in my heart, are the deeds of those who inhabit Babylon any better? Is that why it has gained dominion over Zion? For when I came here, I saw ungodly deeds without number, and my soul has seen many sinners during these 30 years. And my heart failed me because I have seen how you endure those who sin, and have spared those who act wickedly, and have destroyed your people and protected your enemies, and have not shown anyone how your way may be comprehended. Are the deeds of Babylon better than those of Zion? Has another nation known you besides Israel? Or what tribes have so believed the covenants as these tribes of Jacob? Yet their reward has not appeared, and their labor has borne no fruit. For I have traveled widely among the nations, and have seen that they abound in wealth, though they are unmindful of your commandments. Now therefore, weigh in the balance our iniquities and those of the inhabitants of the world, and it will be found which way the turn of the scale will incline. When have the inhabitants of the earth not sinned in your sight? Or what nation has kept your commandments so well? You may indeed find individuals who have kept your commandments, but nations you will not find. All right. So I'm just going to move right into 2nd Esdras chapter 4. And this is about the limitations of the human mind. Then the angel that had been sent to me, whose name was Uriel, answered and said to me, your understanding has utterly failed regarding this world. And do you think you can comprehend the way of the Most High? Then I said, yes, my Lord. And he replied to me, I have been sent to show you 3 ways and to put before you 3 problems. And if you can solve one of them for me, I will show you the way you desire to see. And I will teach you why the heart is evil. And I said, speak, my Lord. And he said to me, go weigh for me the weight of fire and measure for me a blast of wind, or call back for me the day that is past. We can't do that, right? It's pretty much an impossibility. Yet he's saying, show me these things, and sure, I'll answer your desires. And I answered and said, who of those that have been born can do that you should ask me about such things? And he said to me, if I had asked you how many dwellings are in the heart of the sea, or how many streams are at the source of the deep, or how many streams are above the firmament, or which are the exits of Hades, or which are the entrances of paradise, perhaps you would have said to me, I never went down to the deep, nor as yet into Hades, nor did I ever ascend into heaven. But now I have asked you only about fire and wind and the day, things that you have experienced and from which you cannot be separated, and you have given me no answer about them. And he said to me, you cannot understand the things that with which you have grown up. How then can your mind comprehend the way of the Most High? How can one who is already worn out by the corrupt world understand incorruption? When I heard this, I fell on my face, and I said to him, it would have been better for us to not be here than to have come here and live in ungodliness and to suffer and not understand why. How many times have you done that? Me. When we don't understand what is happening in our life and destruction, and pain and suffering and this and that. And my daughter is walking through this right now. And we fall on our face and we're like, just kill me now. Just get it over with because I can't take anymore. Don't we do that all the time? So he's explaining to him that our little bitty minds can't comprehend the ways of the Most High. And therefore, and therefore. So he answered me and said, I went into a forest of trees of the plain, and they made a plan. I went into the forest of the trees of the plain, and they made a plan. The trees made a plan. And said, come, let us go and make war against the sea, so that it may recede before us, and so that we may make for ourselves many more forests. In like manner, the waves of the sea also made a plan and said, come, let us go up and subdue the forest of the plain, so that there also we may gain more territory for ourselves. But the plan of the forest was in vain, for the fire came and consumed it. Likewise, also the plan of the waves and the sea was in vain, for the sand stood firm and blocked it. So if now you were a judge between them, which would you undertake to justify, and which would you condemn? And I answered and said, each made a foolish plan, for the land has been assigned to the forest, and the locale of the sea a place to carry its waves. And he answered me and said, you have judged rightly. But why have you not judged so in your own case? Whereas the land has been assigned to the forest and the sea to its waves, so also those who inhabit the earth can understand only what is on the earth. And he who is above the heavens can understand what is above the height of the heavens. Then I answered and said, I implore you, my Lord, why have I been endowed with the power of understanding? For I did not wish to inquire about the ways above, but about those things that we daily experience. Why Israel has been given over to the Gentiles in disgrace, and why the people whom you loved has been given over to the godless tribes, and the law of our ancestors has been brought to destruction, and the written covenants no longer exist. We pass from the world like locusts, and our life is like a mist. And are we not worthy to obtain mercy? But what will he do for his name that is invoked over us? It is about these things that I have asked. And he answered me and said, if you are alive, you will see. And if you live long, you will often marvel, because the age is hurrying swiftly to its end. Pause. How long ago was this? Think about it. How long ago was this? And the angel Uriel said, we are at the end. It's hurrying. It's almost there. It's coming swiftly. So yeah, it's 11:59.30. We have 30 seconds left. It will not be able to bring the things that have been promised to the righteous in their appointed times, because this age full of sadness and infirmities. For the evil about which you ask me has been sown, but the harvest of it is not yet come. Okay, think about the field. Think about the wheat, and then the seeds have been planted, but all among the wheat have also been seeds of weeds, okay? And they're all planted together. And so the harvest of it has not yet come. If therefore that which has been sown is not reaped, and if the place where the evil has been sown does not pass away, the field where the good has been sown will not come. For a grain of evil sown in Adam's heart from the beginning, how much ungodliness it has produced until now, and will produce until the time of the threshing comes. So, how does this go with what we're doing, where we're at today? You know, I think we're at the place where the, oh my goodness, where the wheat has grown up, or barley, or whatever you want to call it, and the weeds have grown up too, which is the evil, and it is almost time. Like we're on teetering on the time of the threshing, where they take the thing and start chopping down because the harvest is ready. Okay. Consider now for yourself how much fruit of ungodliness a grain of evil seed has produced. And when the heads of grain without number are sown, how great a threshing floor they will fill. Then I answered and I said, how long? And when will these things be? And why are our years few and evil? And he answered me and said, do not be in a greater hurry than the Most High. You indeed are in a hurry for yourself, but the Highest is in a hurry on behalf of many. Did not the souls of the righteous in their chambers ask about these matters, saying, how long are we to remain here? And when will the harvest of our reward come? And the archangel Jeremiah, sorry, I can't pronounce that, answered and said, when the number of those like yourselves is completed, for he has weighed the age in the balance and measured the times by measure and numbered the times by number, and he will not move or arouse them until that measure is fulfilled. Then I answered and said, but O sovereign Lord, all of us are also full of ungodliness. It is perhaps on account of us that the time of threshing is delayed for the righteous, on account of the sins of those who inhabit the earth. And he answered me and said, Go, go and ask a pregnant woman whether, when her 9 months have been completed, her womb can keep the fetus within her any longer. And I said, No, it cannot. And he said to me, in Hades, the chambers of the souls are like a womb. For just as a woman who is in labor makes haste to escape the pangs of birth, so also do these places hasten to give back those things that were committed to them from the beginning. Then the things that you desire to see will be disclosed to you. And I answered and said, if I have found favor in your sight, and if it is possible, and if I am worthy, show me this also, whether more time is to come than has already passed, or whether for us the greater part has already gone by. For I know what was gone by, but I do not know what is to come. And he said to me, stand at my right side, and I will show you the interpretation of the parable. So I stood and I looked, and lo, a flaming furnace passed before me. And when the flame had gone by, I looked, and lo, the smoke remained. And after this, a cloud full of water passed by me, and poured down a heavy and violent rain. And when the violent rainstorm had passed, drops still remained in the cloud. And so he said to me, consider it for yourself, for just as the rain is more than the drops, and the fire is greater than the smoke, so the quantity that passed is far greater, but the drops and the smoke remained. Then I prayed, and I said, do you think that I shall live until those days? Or who will be alive in those days? And he answered me and said, concerning the signs about which you ask me, I can tell you in part, but I was not sent to tell you concerning your life, for I do not know. And that is the end of chapter 4. So there is a lot in both of those chapters that need to be studied. I just remember the very first time I read those books, my lights went off like boom, boom, boom. Like, oh my gosh, I understand now. And so, yeah, there's just a lot to glean from those two books. But as I am commanded, I shall only read them and then we can go back through them later with a fine tooth comb. Because we will move into chapter 5 tomorrow on Shabbat, which begins the discussion about the signs of the end. And I truly believe that we are the generation that Ezra is asking about. And that's why, well, I know because Abba showed me last year this book and showed me that, you know, like just he spoke volumes. I have to get my journal from then because I studied it and yeah, it was just crazy. Not crazy. He's not crazy. He's awesome. And everything comes back around and he gives such grace and wisdom. Do you know how patient he is with us? Like literally, he's so patient. And he doesn't have to be, but he is because he loves us so much. And so now I want to talk about a little bit about the Zadok calendar. I am still studying it, though I said I follow it. But Abba took me through this miraculous, like, let me click on it. I hope you can still see me when I do this. All right, RYM Covenant. I might put the link in the description box when I'm done. Magnificent website. Wow, so much information. I mean, they're like one, I think Abba woke them up a few years back, and then they created this website. And literally, if you go through it, you can just, they studied word for word, you know, and you can read about the Melchizedek priesthood and how they broke down and studied like in whole, word for word, the Hebrew translations and like very thorough study on many of the questions that I had. And I know Abba led me to that because right before I found it, I prayed exactly what he led me to. And so I keep forgetting the Zadok calendar and the day count of it because I'm still trying to figure out what it means. And it's not really called the Zadok calendar, like I said, it's the one they found with the Dead Sea Scrolls in the Qumran area. And that I think was just a title put on it. But I'm trying to study now how that lines up with the months because I know Abba gave names to the months and many things that we are to follow. So I'm going to look into that more today, definitely tomorrow. I love Shabbat because I can sit and study all day. I love it. But yeah, so there is what I was reading off of the website that I'm going to put the link to in the box below. And you can go back and study this. And this is what I'm looking into now is, let's see. Did Yahusha keep the solar or lunar calendar? That was the title of their article leading in. And we know the lunar calendar is not right, right? At least I pray you do. But they do a thorough study on why Yahusha showed up in the middle of Sukkot, all that stuff, and how during that time they were following traditions of men. So their calendar was messed up even at that time. So anyway, I will put the link below. But if you, I don't know what calendar you guys are following. Oh wait, no, I'll put it right here. Hang on. Yeah, I was following just the Jewish calendar prior, and it's making sense to me. And then when Abba showed me all he showed me yesterday about the Zadok priesthood, let me go there and pull that up because this website, whoa, talk about miracles. It was amazing. I just was so grateful to him that he was showing me this information. I mean, Wow. Um, so let me see. Oh, I just noticed I hadn't been to their first page yet, but they do have the covenant calendar. That's what they're calling it. So I'm not sure. I need to do more study into this because, like I said, I'm just praying for the Ruach to give me the wisdom, um, to give me the wisdom I need to show me the truth. I mean, obviously, we need to obey him and not man. All right, so here's the link to the Melchizedek priesthood study they did. I pray that when you read this, oh my goodness, you are going to love it. You're going to be so. Oh, yeah, Michael Roods is good. That's kind of the one I was following before. Um, and this might be the one he actually follows. I don't know. I haven't compared them. So that's what I'm trying to do now is take it and compare it because it might just have this name that somebody put on it, but it could very well be the same calendar. I don't know. Because like I was talking to another sister about how the count to Passover has already started. I already started it. Um, I don't really know who else or what other calendar people are talking about that hadn't started the count because that's not the one I was following. So I'm just going to compare the two and pray for wisdom. Yes, I'm Berean. Um, but the article that I just posted about the Melchizedek priesthood, whoa, so good, so good. And I was just so excited. It was awesome. Um, but yeah, all right. So I have to leave, take hubby to work. But I pray you have a beautiful day. Happy prep day. Don't forget to buy fresh flowers for yourself for Shabbat. And yes, have a wonderful day in Yahushua HaMashiach's name, I pray. And I love you, and I will be praying for you. Prayer requests, just send them to me. Yeah. All right. Bye, guys.